I'm not even sure if this should be allowed, to get a 351 tourists in a single city. Not only is this civilization really strong, this civilization and this game mode are absolutely bonkers. Hey, Spuddies, Potato McWhiskey here, and welcome to Civilization 6. Before we get started, I do want to quickly say that this video is sponsored by 2K and Firaxis. Huge shout out to those guys for sponsoring this video. Thank you so much. And if you want to get your own copy of the new Frontier Pass to play with this new civilization yourself, go ahead and click the link in the description of this video. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Today we're going to be playing the new, completely new civilization, Vietnam, as Ba Trieu. They're a very cool and interesting civilization. They're incredibly good at defense and very good at tourism. Deity difficulty, a custom selection of city-states. I basically got rid of all the city-states I don't personally like, which is one of my favorite uses of this feature, is just being able to pick and choose how you want your game to go. We'll be on a continents map and everything else will be standard, except for the rainfall, which I'm going to leave as wet because I would like a little bit more lush of a world, just so that we can really take advantage of Vietnam's advantages. And of course, one of the huge features of this update is the monopolies and corporations mode, which we will absolutely be playing with today. I won't use any other modes because I really want to focus on the monopolies and corporations mode. Although that said, Heroes and Legends and Secret Societies are just so fun. Sure, why not just throw them in anyway? This starting location looks very interesting. We have two main choices. Either we move to the cattle and settle the cattle, or we stay in place and work the spices as our first tile. They're essentially the same move. The only choice really is how much desert do we want in our capital city. We don't have a whole lot of forest shops here, so if I am going to go for a pyramids, it might have to be in a second city. But yeah, I think this is a perfectly fine spot to settle right in place. We can work the 3 food 2 production tile. We'll grow to a 2 food 2 production tile soon, and we'll immediately get to work on a scout. Now, before we talk about what our game plan is, we have to talk about what Vietnam's abilities are. First of all, we have Drive Out the Aggressors, which gives us +5 combat strength for units fighting in a harvestable feature like rainforest, marsh, or woods. It also gives you +1 movement if they begin their turn in one of those tiles, and those bonuses are doubled if that tile is inside our territory. That means that essentially these tiles, right, these forests and rainforests, they basically act like highway for our units, so our units move really quickly through them, but they also act like fortresses, right? This is incredibly defensive terrain for us, and what that means is we can be really greedy, right? We can get away with having low-tech units because they have +10 combat strength when they're in our territory on these tiles. A +10 combat strength swordsman who's fortified would have about 46 combat strength, and since he's fortified, he'll have probably closer to like 50 combat strength, which means he should be able to hold up against a 55 combat strength musketman attacking into him. So basically, by having this defensive bonus, our units are an era ahead on the defense. Really, really strong defense means really, really greedy greed. We can be extremely greedy. We are going to rush out settlers. We're going to build almost no military. The military that we do build is going to be old and technologically. We are going to build a lot of encampments because Vietnam does get a unique encampment called the Tan, which gives you extra culture for every district that's adjacent to it. And it also gets tourism when you research flight. So all we need are encampments and walls and stuff and a few units, and we're basically impervious to invasion. The other important bonus though that we have to keep in mind is that all of our specialty districts can only be built on rainforest, marsh, or woods. So we're gonna have to pick and choose carefully what we harvest and what we keep and what we plant later on in the game. Here's what I'm thinking right now. I think I'm gonna put a holy site right here on this tile, and then I'll pop down a preserve down here at some point to improve the yields of these adjacent tiles. We'll harvest quite a bit. Oh man, I might have to wait actually on doing this. Because rainforest gives negative appeal, I might not be able to do much preserve stuff in my capital. I'll have to look for higher appeal areas. So maybe instead of doing that, I'll plan a preserve over here to the west for later on. And instead I'll put an encampment and a dam over here. It's really, really important. Vietnam is a civilization that requires intense planning. This is not a civ that you can just wing things. You really have to consider every choice that you're making and be incredibly efficient with how you place your stuff, because you are so land dependent. Oh hey, we discovered the Elves of Minerva as well as Johannesburg. We were the first to find them, and they will give us +1 production when we're building buildings. That could be useful if we do decide to go for a pyramid. We also have their mission is for me to construct a holy site, which is something I plan to do. Oh, we also found Fez this turn too. We did not find them first, and they want me to construct a campus, and they would give me extra science when I convert cities. I would like to get a religion this game, if possible. Just because, oh, lovely. We also found the Void Singers. Amazing. I'm not sure if I adopt the Void Singers straight away. I think this is a Void Singers game because we are going to be going for a tourism victory as Vietnam. That is their strongest win condition, in my opinion. We found Ethiopia. Let's try to have a positive relationship with Ethiopia because he can be a little bit scary fighting in the mountains. So I'll send him a delegation. And I'm almost certainly going to want to forward settle Ethiopia to try to secure some of this land because there's lovely mountains here that we could use for national parks and stuff. Hey, we found Bologna, and we were the first to meet Bologna, which is incredible. They want me to train a spearman, which is something we could do. They'll give me extra great people points on my districts, which is very nice. Hello, Amanator of Nubia. Absolute pleasure to meet you. Looks like she's settling down towards this desert area, so I may actually want to settle to the north first and try to cut her off at the pass and use this as a choke point for her to try and funnel her armies through. If I were to, for example, place a city maybe on this side of the river and then an encampment like here, this city would be pretty impossible to invade. It wouldn't be a very good economic city because Vietnam does not do well when there's a lot of desert in their cities, unless you can get a Petra city. That's because you can't plant rainforests or forests in these desert tiles. You can actually only plant woods, but you can't plant them here. So you can't place any districts except for maybe on these northern tiles. Oh nice, we found Singapore to the south as well. This is going to push me even further in the direction of going for pyramids. Having 2 industrial city-states providing me +1 production in my capital that can go towards wonders and districts is really nice in the early game. So I do feel like this is going to be a pyramids opener. Even if I don't have the quarry boost available, I still think it's a valuable thing to do. Let's pick up Discipline for the combat strength against barbarians and God King for the ability to get an early Pantheon. I also need to start thinking about which luxury resources I want to secure. I really want to secure a second tobacco, so I'm tempted to settle across this river so that I can purchase out to it. Because you need two sources of a resource in order to actually get the corporation for it. Let's grab Earth Goddess for the +2 faith from tiles with breathtaking appeal. I don't have a whole lot of tiles with breathtaking appeal at all right now, but I do plan for a lot of national parks this game. That's why I have my preserves placed like this. The idea being that these 2 diamonds will be national parks. I kind of want to try to get at least 1 national park and preserve per city. Let's get our holy site started, and the really cool thing is we can throw it down on top of this jungle, and any of the buildings built in it will get +1 science because it's placed on a rainforest, because that's also part of the 9 Dragon River Delta ability. Pop down our second city right in Nubia's face. Now this city will probably struggle with loyalty for a while, so I'm gonna pop Magnus in there and immediately go for a builder. And we'll chop out a monument and a hero in here when we finally discover one. Ooh, we found Maui. Now, the cool thing about Maui in this mode is that we could use him to get a monopoly on some sort of desert luxury. I'm kind of tempted by Maui. I would like to get Hercules because Hercules is my favorite hero, but Maui is a distinct possibility. I have 9 turns until I need to start the pyramids, so I'm tempted to get a monument and Maui here, and then go for the pyramids and maybe use Maui to improve these desert tiles a little bit. Nice, there's a masonry giving us access to the pyramids. We also have Maui. I'm going to use Maui to clear out these guys over here, and I think I've come up with a plan on how to get the pyramids, because the problem is Nubia is working on the pyramids right now. And I think the plan involves moving Magnus to the capital, chopping out all of this rainforest, which means we need to get bronze working. And we'll need to clear this barb camp in order to get bronze working, because we've only killed 2 barbarians right now. So let's buy this tile, immediately begin work on the pyramids. This builder will run down to the capital, and I'll purchase another builder in the capital, maybe when I have enough gold soon. Other than that, I think that's more or less all we have planned right now. I would just love to get the pyramids. It would feel so nice. Nice, we cleared the barb camp, we got 3 era score, and now we're only a few gold away from buying another builder. We're 6 turns from bronze working being completed, 2 turns from Magnus's establishing, and only a couple thirds behind Nubia on the pyramids. Let's pay money to unlock and get out of God King and instead place in urban planning. That'll shave a few turns off the pyramids. Buy the forest and then chop for 40 production. Oh, we're neck and neck. We really need to get bronze working. Let's grab the Void Singers now, because we do actually have a monument, and that +4 faith per turn is going to be pretty useful. The good news is Nubia also went for Void Singers, so we'll have pretty good relations. Let's get some open borders to try and improve those relations a little bit more. Yep, you can see now we have definitely a lot more positive relationship score than negative relationship score. Ethiopia went for their Hermetic Order, so we're going to have a bit of trouble being friends with him. But getting open borders with him will also go a long way to having positive relations. Also, my Maui's inventions have been going great. I have 3 different luxury resources in here now. And that's incredible, because it'll mean I could potentially get another couple of monopolies or even more corporations and industries. Yoink! Clear the barb camp for a little bit of extra gold. It's neck and neck on the pyramids right now. Let's jump down into this forest. We'll purchase it for 85 gold, and then we'll be able to harvest it next turn, and that might just barely finish the pyramids. And getting the pyramids would make me so happy, especially if I could keep this builder alive. Then he would have an extra charge. It would just be a super efficient early game, and then we'll be able to immediately just hardcore go into mass settling, because it looks like we have pretty open terrain here, aside from the city-states kind of messing things up just a little bit. We have pretty open terrain down here to the south and what looks like to the east, because I'm not seeing any other players. And Vietnam is a civ that thrives on the quality and quantity of their land. The more land you have, the better. And the quality of that land is insane. You can actually, because you can start planting forests really early into the game, Vietnam, is kind of able to increase the quality of their land much faster than any other civilization in the game. Okay, there's bronze working. We can now harvest rainforest. It does mean that iron has appeared. That does have a small downside, in that it's going to possibly block us from settling some districts and stuff like that, but it doesn't look like the iron spawned anywhere that I'm unhappy about at the moment. Right, let's harvest here for 43 production, and it's 2 turns on the pyramids. Ooh, it's going to be close. Do I need another harvest? I think I can get away without harvesting the pyramids right now. One turn on these pyramids. I swear to God, if I lose the pyramids, I'm going to be incredibly upset. One of my favorite things about Vietnam is the encampment district doesn't take up population slots. So you can just always throw them down. So I have my encampment placed here. And the other really cool thing is when you place a district, it doesn't actually harvest the underlying forest, at least any of your specialty districts, which means in particular, holy sites actually get extra adjacency from forests. So if I could plant a forest here as well, I could get +2 adjacency on this holy site from the forests, and +2 to 3 adjacency from the adjacent districts, which is really damn cool. And beautifully, we actually managed to grab the pyramids. Pyramids gives you a free builder, which is insane because it basically refunds some of the cost of the pyramids. Also, all of your builders gain 1 extra improvement charge, which includes all of your currently active and future builders. So this guy who used to have only 1 build charge now has 2. This fresh builder now has 4. This is insane. Normally, a builder would cost you 50 to 100 production and get you, 3 to 5 build charges. Now, my builders cost the same amount, but I get 4 to 6 build charges from them, which is insane. I think Nubia is my biggest early game threat, so even though I could get an envoy from trading at Johannesburg, I'm going to trade with Moreau to try to improve my relationship with Nubia. I'm also going to pop Magnus over to Cantho because we're starting to have a bit of a loyalty issue in here. If I can get Nubia to be my friend, that basically gives me a long ass time where I don't have to worry about them attacking me. I would really like to start working on building up my empire and getting settlers right now. I'm super behind on settlers, in all honesty. I do need to concern myself with getting out my religion though. So I think I might do 1 holy site prayer, or perhaps even build my shrine. Religion isn't massively competitive right now. There's only 4 people going for one, but there can only be 5 religions in this game. So I think securing my shrine will guarantee me a religion, and then very soon I can start pumping out settlers. With regards to that though, I'm going to get Exodus to the Evangelists for the era score for whenever I convert a city to my religion, because I would love to get a golden age in the next era. Let's improve this silver so that we have a copy of a luxury. Ooh, we found Ayutthaya. Now, Ayutthaya is very nice because it gives you 10% of the culture equal to the construction cost when you finish a building. So if you finish a building costing 100 production, you get 10% of that culture. I'm definitely going to want to make friends with these guys, and they want me to get an inspiration for craftsmanship. So I'm going to switch away from craftsmanship for a few turns and work on mysticism, because I already have 2 tiles improved and I just need 1 more. Let's sell our silver over to Menelik for 131 gold and 5 gold per turn. Then I can immediately purchase the salt here, improve it, and get craftsmanship boosted, which gives me an extra envoy with Ayutthaya, and we can go back to researching state workforce so we can get political philosophy nice and quick. We got the tan over in Kanto, and I think I'm going to chop out a monument and maybe a hero in here. Although I'm probably better off just going for settlers at this point. Yoink, another tribal village, and that's 60 faith. Oh, lovely. I could even use that faith to purchase my great prophet a little bit sooner. Nubia has positive relations. Let's send a delegation and declare our friendship. I thought I'd already sent her a delegation, but I must have forgot. Let's sell our salt to Nubia for 8 gold per turn and immediately 12 gold. Since we have a friendship with Nubia now, we don't have to worry about her attacking us, so we can send our slinger over here to help deal with this barb camp. Let's place our tan in the capital while it's nice and cheap, and then immediately get to work on more settlers. Governor wise, I like the idea of going for an early Reina to get forestry management for the +2 gold for each unimproved feature. Chop out a builder, kaboom. We'll send him to the south. I'd like to settle him right here. Let's work on currency so that we can start building industries, which are a part of the new corporations and monopolies mode. There's political philosophy, giving me access to my tier 1 governments. I think I'll pop in Classical Republic for that extra grey people points. That'll help me get my religion a little bit quicker. We'll also slap in settler production, as well as builder production, and the extra influence towards earning city-states. Pop down our 3rd city, kaboom. Now I need to plan this city out a little bit, because in order to get maximum value from our encampment districts, where we place our districts is going to matter. Since there's a national park going right here, I do feel like getting ourselves a entertainment complex on this forest would be nice to give extra appeal to that national park. Then I think a theater square would fit very nicely here, because it'll get extra adjacency from that, and I could pop down my encampment district right there. And naturally, a holy site would fit very nicely here, and I could very, very easily fit an extra couple of ski resorts in this city much later in the game. That said, I'm also going to want to get a government plaza somewhere, and a couple of campuses probably wouldn't be a bad idea. So maybe I put my government plaza on this tile, pop my holy site over here to the left, pop my campus here slightly lower than that, and then get my Diplo quarter in here instead, and we'll eventually just grow this city really, really tall to get all of these districts. It'll be a long time coming, but it will eventually get there. Let's make sure we buy these tiles, and then pop down our government plaza. Oh, we found Laventa. Laventa is great because they'll let me build colossal heads, and that's going to be super useful with all the forests we're going to have in our territory. Now I need to start planning my cities out over here in these floodplain areas. Now floodplains unfortunately aren't very good because you can't plant forests on them. And ideally we would want to have forests on every single tile we can. And they also have massively negative appeal, which is going to make my life a little bit harder. I could definitely fit some nice national parks around these mountains though. Ooh, we found the Giant's Causeway, which is actually a pretty big deal, because that gives me even more combat strength, so I'll be even harder to attack. Let's go ahead and found our religion, and naturally, of course, we'll be going for the religion of turtles aren't real. Let's take reliquaries, because we will be getting some relics from our heroes. And I'll also grab pilgrimage, because I'd like to completely convert this continent if I could, and that would just give me a really nice faith income. Plus a little bit of era score from founding a religion is always welcome. I am a little bit concerned about Ethiopia kind of coming at me here, so I think I'm going to switch over to Ancient Walls and appoint Victor and pop him into the city for the extra 5 combat strength, continue researching archery, and possibly see if I can get enough money to chop out walls in here. Right, I've traded with the AI for a good chunk of cash, and I can just about purchase a builder in here. That will slow down my Kanto builder, but it will mean that I can chop out my walls in here and feel pretty safe. Ideally, I would like to get some settlers up here to secure the tobacco and the tea to potentially get some monopolies in them late game. Nubia is currently killing Bologna, so I might try to use my scouts to get his steel here. He does have okay combat strength because he got a kill on this. I could also bring my warrior over to do that as well. But ideally, I want to get some cities up here, because if I could capture Bologna and capture this entire eastern area of the continent with settlers, I would be in an incredible position for the winning of this game. Chop here to give the city a little bit of extra population and work towards ancient walls, and then we might be able to get the walls up with a chop here next turn. I'll use this trader to trade with Johannesburg, and that'll give me suzerainty of them, as well as access to Himiko. Ooh, Himiko is really damn nice. I could maybe chop Himiko out in Kanto. City's having a little bit of a loyalty issue because there's a lot of high population enemy cities here, but I might be able to alleviate that problem with some chopping and stuff. I don't know. I might have to just settle here to try to get a little bit of extra loyalty pressure. I think the big thing would be if I could get this city converted. That would really help the loyalty, because I have a -3 from it not following my religion right now. I have 3 envoys, and I'm trying to think which city-state could I get suzerainty of that would pose the biggest threat to Ethiopia if he was to declare war on me, or would provide me with the most advantages. And it might actually be Leventa. That said, I could get Singapore on my side as well, like this, get a little bit of era score out of it, and discover Hercules. Oh man, I would love to get Hercules this game. But yeah, now I have like these warrior swarm armies that might go help me a little bit. Right, let's harvest here. And then we've only got 2 turns on the walls. We can upgrade to an archer in here in a few turns. And I'm feeling pretty safe. Not super safe, but I'm feeling a lot better about this. If he was to declare war next turn, I would probably survive this war. Let's get a missionary to start converting back this city, as well as maybe a couple of the Nubian cities. And I think I'm also going to try to start harvesting out Hercules up here in Kanto. Ethiopia hasn't declared yet, so now I feel very happy with my position here. We have the city growing in another turn, we have the walls coming up next turn, and I have more and more settlers just coming out of my capital. Let's settle this city to try to get a tiny bit of loyalty towards Kanto, and then bring this missionary up to convert the city as well. Alright, Turtles Aren't Real has converted the city of Kanto, which should basically solve my loyalty problems in here in the short term. It is going to continue to get worse before it gets better. And I have ancient walls up in Triu, and Hercules is coming up very soon as well. Bologna has managed to fend off Nubia, interestingly enough, but maybe if Nubia can manage to do enough damage, I can get a snipe off and steal them. Found a Nancy. A Nancy could be super useful in getting rid of enemy monopolies. Because if I could just swing them into my allied territory and just start ripping up their luxuries, that could be essentially, again, free monopolies for all of the luxuries on this continent. I think if I go for a third hero, it's 100% going to be a Nancy. Nubia wants to give me horses for my Diplo favor as well as a bit of gold. I'm going to take that deal. Man, Bologna is just living on the edge right now. I'm so tempted to declare war, but its city strength is just a little bit too high for me. Oh, here comes the Ethiopian war that I have been worried about. They're on their way, but thankfully I do have a couple of units in position to help defend. And I can actually chop out Hercules here and potentially use him to get this encampment up, so I could probably safely switch back to my government plaza and just send Hercules down here to defend the city, because I should be able to hold this city with an archer. Even though his hero's here, I think my hero will outclass his hero because I have city shots to help. Let's pop out Charismatic Leader and pop in Diplomatic League instead. This will allow me to get an extra envoy in Leventa, take suzerainty of Leventa, and have another city-state potentially harassing Ethiopia. Ooh, I could build an industry here. That would give me +2 food, +2 production on this tile, as well as a 20% culture boost in my capital city. Now, if I look for spices, there's only so many free spice tiles, and it's unlikely I'll be able to get this industry in another city. So this might be the only place I could get a spice industry for a very long time, unless I were to settle up north. So I think I'm going to go for the spice industry here. You can only have 1 industry per city, but my god, does that give the city a really nice tile. And once we start getting great merchants, we'll be able to upgrade this. The cool thing is though, once you have an industry, you actually automatically start earning great merchant points, which is really cool. Let's shoot the hero a little bit to get him softened up. We'll also get rid of this chariot just to kind of reduce the amount of units he can come at me with. I also just noticed that Nubia actually founded their religion in Kerma, which is perfect because I've already used 1 missionary charge in here, and if I can get 2 to 3 more missionary charges in here, I completely eliminate their religion, so they'll just be free pickings for me. I'm getting kind of really lucky and unlucky in some ways in this game, and I'm not hating it. Trying to run away from this hero with my archer, because if he manages to hit my archer, he will actually capture him and turn him against me, and I really don't want that. Ooh, he managed to nail me hard. which sucks. But I did survive. But oh, and he's spawning units. Oof. He's spawning extra units from the city-state. Maybe the city-state will actually work against me. That's a little bit unfortunate. I can kill this chariot, and then the turn afterwards, I'll be able to get this encampment built with Hercules, and then the city will be incredibly difficult to take. Nubia is sending a settler out east. I'm going to try to bait some of these barbarian units to chase me over towards their settler to see if we can steal it. Now, I'm pretty sure this will completely eliminate... yes, this will completely eliminate Nubia's religion. So Islam doesn't exist except over in this city of Sadanga. So if I can convert this city, Nubia is 100% religion free. They just cannot get their religion back. Okay, the hero attacked the city, which was a lot of damage. Not the end of the world. We do have a catapult coming, but I can instantly build this encampment and start bombarding the catapult with this guy. And this guy is in a pretty precarious position because if he's not careful, he'll die next turn from 2 shots. And heroes don't heal that quickly, which is why I'm trying to use the encampment to defend Hercules. I have my coastal city in position. I'm hoping to get 2 wonders in this city. The mausoleum, although I'm not sure if that can be built on floodplains. I really hope it can. Otherwise, I'll just swap the direction of these things. Although I won't be able to get quite as good a theater square. But I do want these wonders if I can get them. It might require me to like move things up the coast slightly. Nubia is trying to convert Kerma back, but I just cannot allow it. I have to try to suppress their religion. Right, their hero is running away. I'm a little bit concerned. I'm going to try to bait him back in by moving my archer out. I don't like that my trade route could potentially die from this warrior now. All right, enemy hero goes down this turn. Thank goodness for that. I did lose my trade route, which sucks. It's not the end of the world. But I can, at the very least, get my campus online with Hercules soon. And that'll be a nice campus because it's on a marsh, which means all of the campus buildings get +1 production. Let's settle down this city and then immediately get a corporation on the tobacco. Oh, my tobacco was pillaged up here. I won't be able to do that. Oh, that really sucks. So my worry is here that this city-state is going to kill my city and immediately delete it. That means I have to peace out Ethiopia, and I'm probably going to have to make a deal that I really don't like. I'll try to give him things I don't care too much about, like horses, a little bit of gold, diplo favor, ivory, and stuff like that. But that should get him out of my hair, which will allow me to focus on my real goals here, which is to try to get my empire infrastructure up and more settlers. Let's make a dedication. I'm going to take monumentality here so I can start faith purchasing settlers and builders. Right now they cost 320 faith, but I'm going to have to make the decision. Do I faith purchase my settlers or do I continue to push Anubia's religion? And I think I would prefer to faith purchase my settlers. So I'm going to try and just go defensive on religion now. I don't know why they would trigger this emergency. I might just let them get their free relics. I'm not going to bother trying to do this. I think I would rather focus my faith towards getting settlers and stuff. As much as I love you, Bologna, I think it's time for you to go. I'm going to try to use my scout here to get the kill. Oh, just barely not able to. I might be able to snag it next turn. I spent a bunch of time planning out my empire as well. So you can see I have a bunch of national parks planned and ready, as well as my preserves, my encampments, my theater squares, all that jazz. Let's pillage this campus for a little bit of bonus science, finish mathematics, then take the city with a warrior, kaboom, and now it belongs to me. We will naturally be keeping this city. Oh my god, Nubia, what have you done? I plan to settle so many cities over here. I might have to try to use loyalty pressure to kill this city. Oh, it's already flipping independent. That's really good news for me. I'm still going to run some settlers up here to try to get even more pressure on it. But yeah, we basically just sniped a city for free off of Nubia. She's a little bit upset with me though, because I tried to convert her cities and I accidentally made a promise against her. These grievances will go away slowly though. Alright, let's get our very first tea industry online. This is worth a 15% science boost in Bologna. And we already have a pretty damn good campus in here, so I'm very happy with that boost. Granted, I did murder the campus for 65 science, but it's only going to take me 4 turns to repair, so I feel like I came out on top even if I did pillage it. I'm moderately worried about Nubia declaring war, so I'm going to get some walls over here in Kanto. Pop down a tobacco industry in here for +2 food, +2 production, +1 gold, and a 30% boost towards military units in this city, but it'll also very nicely speed up how quickly I can settle and expand from here. I just realized that I misspelled turtles when I made my religion, and I said turtle aren't real when it should be turtles. Oh my god. Settle a city right by the Giant's Causeway, getting us a bit of era score. Let's plug in serfdom into our new government so our builders are more effective. And we also, we just lost Hercules up here. So now we have 2 great works pumping out a ton of faith and a ton of tourism. That early tourism is going to stand to us. We do need to get cartography fairly early this game if we're going to explore the coast. Nice, we got our very first great merchant. Now we could use this guy immediately, or we could wait until we unlock economics and perhaps use him to make a corporation. Since Licinius's ability isn't the most powerful one in the game, I'm tempted to wait, so I'll just park him onto that commercial hub and wait with him. Let's promote the Void Singers with Chorus. This is going to give us a nice boost to our gold, science, and culture per turn. Like if we check out my capital, it's making 22 faith per turn. Now I'm getting an extra 4.3 culture, 4.3 science, and 4.3 gold, which is quite good. Oh, lovely. We have machinery, which gives us access to the Void Chen, which is our unique crossbowman unit. These guys are very good. They're quite expensive to upgrade, but the extra 4 era score and the fact that they can move after attacking is very nice. Move our Void Chen over to attack this horseman and then immediately swap it forward like so. Oh, the Netherlands found me. That's great, because now we can start generating tourism against them. And also, if we get our hands on any of those spies, start spying on their capital. The really cool thing about the Void Chen is it can attack and then promote. I love that. Oh, we built a Temple of Artemis over in Dalat. That's going to give this city a massive population boost and an amenity boost. Let's refuse this city. That does spawn more units, doesn't it? That's really... that's not my favorite thing, let me tell you that much. That's definitely not my favorite thing ever. We now have medieval fairs, and that means something really important. We can start planting down woods. That's a really big deal because it means all of our plans can start to come to fruition. A lot of these districts I have planned, I can't actually build them because they're placed on rainforest, and rainforest has negative appeal. But you're going to start seeing the appeal of my empires skyrocket as I pump out builders. Let's take control of Ayuthia because that extra 10% culture when we build buildings is going to be super useful. World Congress passed and units are half price, but also city center buildings are built 100% faster. So I'm going to take some time now to grab medieval walls and Renaissance walls. I do want to grab Eiffel Tower this game for the extra appeal, but being able to get those walls up so quick will be super helpful. Finally got my audience chamber up in track Q as well. The city is struggling. It really just needs some builder time, but I'll get the granary and the watermill to try to grow the city to get more production too. Pop in our new government merchant republic. Lovely 3 era score. We'll also plug in land surveyors because we need to buy a lot of tiles. Merch confederation for lots of gold. Conscription to make our units cheaper. And we'll plug in Republican legacy for the extra housing and amenities. Last shot on Het, and now we can take it out and finally raise the city from being an eyesore in the middle of my empire and settle the actual cities that we want. Oh, apparently Johannesburg was just completely wiped off the map. That won't do. I'll need to settle a new city there to try and block them from doing anything. Honestly, it kind of frees up the map a bit for me because I'll be able to replan this area a bit better. All right, we built our first grove. We actually managed to finish it over in Da Nang. Now look at the appeal here. It's a thing of beauty. Our pantheon is triggering off of all of these tiles, and when we build the grove, every single one of these tiles will get +2 food, +2 faith, and +2 culture. Might have seemed like a bad idea to delete that city, but I wanted my city to be down to the right one tile because it lines up with my plans a little bit better. Ooh, lovely. We got my favorite wonder. The Petra is complete, and now the tiles in this city are looking very delicious. I'm feeling incredibly untouchable. Nubia and Menelik hate me, but I've managed to completely block them off from the rest of the continent. And even if they were to attack me, I have these ridiculously powerful Void Chens and such a powerful economy that I could basically spam them out of any city, but especially Dalat. Like, I can produce a Void Chen in here every 5 turns, and that's without the production card boosting it. I could probably build one of these every 2 to 3 turns in here. Practically invincible, thanks to Vietnam's incredible ability to plant down these encampments everywhere. These guys are going to be an absolute nightmare to face in multiplayer. Oh yes, Da Nang has finished the grove. Now look at these tiles. 4 food, 2 production, 2 gold, 2 culture, and 4 faith. Oh, these are incredibly good tiles. Feels incredibly good to have this sort of stuff. And like, the thing is, I have the option between these sorts of yields in the city of Da Nang, or I could put a lumber mill, right? I could put a lumber mill, I lose 2 of the food, but I gain 2 production, and I lose the rest of the bonus stuff. So you can kind of mix and match your grove tiles with improved tiles to see if that's what you really want. Managed to slip a missionary into Kerma at the very last second, so I could get credit for this emergency and get myself a free relic and 100 Diplo favor. You always got to keep your eye out for little opportunities like that where you can get value for very little effort. Hey, +3 era score for the religious emergency. There's Stirrups, there's St. Albert's Skull. Menelik was the one who was targeted. And I kind of forgot to actually put down my dams. Oops. Now that we have mercantilism, we can actually see who has control of which resources. Right now we have a monopoly on ivory, but I would need to get a second copy of it using Maui for that actually to mean anything, because you need 2 of them to build an industry. I'm pretty close to getting a monopoly on tobacco. There's just a couple of copies over here that I think I'm going to try to get a Nancy to remove. Been waiting a long time to plug in public works and plug out colonization. I think I've got all the cities I want settled at long last. And my oh my, is it a lot of cities. I don't think I could possibly lose now that I have this many. And I only have like 1 or 2 more to settle. I want to settle one up here in the north so I can build a bunch of national parks. And then one down here in the desert and one on this coastline. And this is after I get Maui back and I run him through here to add a bunch of extra luxuries so that I can have a better chance of getting a monopoly on the desert luxuries. I think it's about time that we looked into getting some friendships and alliances. But it looks like Menelik just won't accept, so maybe I can get the Aztecs on my side. Man, is there anything more juicy in the entire world than some very nice Petra Hills? I don't know, I just get like an extreme sense of satisfaction when I see these kind of yields. Oh, Nubia moved their army towards me. I don't like that very much. I'm gonna need to get some more military over here. Yeah, they're moving their military towards me. Let's recruit our heroes. I'll quickly run Maui down here to Kong Kwong to get a few more luxuries and stuff like that. Got my first spy and I'm going to send it over to Amsterdam. That's all thanks to completing my intelligence agency building over here in the capital. Sorry, this isn't the capital. You know what? Listen, I'm just going to get myself a grove and pretend I haven't said dumb things. I really want to get frescoes plugged in, but I don't have enough art museums to justify it. So I might actually go archaeological mostly this game and skip frescoes. Time to settle my final city up north to grab this luscious area that I can use for a ton of national parks. Did I say luscious? I meant to say lush, and then my brain like my brain just did weird things with the word. Listen. Alright, I'm going to park Hercules in this city because he'll give the city 88 combat strength, which will make it very tough for Nubia to invade if she should choose to. And I'm kind of concerned that she will because she has a ton of units in the area. Oh, and yep, she actually just declared a war the turn after I said it. Well, the good news is I have a fairly strong bonuses that make me hard to invade, but I'll need to get more units up here. I'm hoping these medieval walls finish. There's natural history, so we can finally get archaeologists. I don't have any art museums up yet because I've just been focused on expanding a lot this game. But it does mean we're only 12 turns away from conservation and we'll be able to pump out a ton of naturalists then. Looks like Menelik would actually join my war for a single gold, so I'm going to see if I can get him in on the action. He has pretty comparable military strength to Nubia, so I'm hoping he'll be able to even out the war. Oh, he actually offered me a friendship too. So let's get him into a military alliance so we can do a bit more damage against Nubia. +5 combat strength is going to come in pretty handy. We're going to be using our heroes here to fight a lot. Hey, we got the Grove up in track Q, and now we've got absolutely monstrous yields on these tiles in here as well. Like, just look at that. And the great thing is, the Grove can actually help another one of your cities. So sure, I have like incredible yields in this city, but if I look over at Than Long, we also get the benefit of these 2 tiles, even though the Grove is in the other city. Looks like they're trying to do a runner and sidestep my cities in their quest to kill me. But I'm going to do everything I can to kill as many of their units as possible. And so far it seems like we've been doing a good job thinning out their army. I think I've successfully defended against Nubia here. She's not quite ready for peace, but I've pretty much killed most of her army, at least what was threatening me. And I'm even like thinking about sneaking into her territory and grabbing a pillage or 2. Yeah, I don't think invading Vietnam was ever really a very good idea. Kind of makes me wonder what the AI was thinking. I mean, I'm literally the most powerful turtle civilization in the game, and they like sent cuirassiers against me unsupported. I mean, what other outcome were people expecting? That I would like lose a war? Come on, I own half the continent and my army is invincible when they're in forests. Oh, you know, I never evangelized my religion. Let's go ahead and correct that mistake right now. We'll get ourselves to apostles and then we'll evangelize next turn. Hey, we have conservation, which gives us access to the naturalist. But more importantly, the brand new building, the sanctuary, that gives me +1 science and +1 gold to adjacent unimproved charming tiles and +2 science, +2 gold and +2 production for adjacent unimproved breathtaking tiles. Wow, it's actually really expensive though. So maybe I shouldn't have focused so hard on getting so many preserves across my empire. I mean, it's fun to build them. It's just maybe it wasn't the most effective strategy. Because I aimed to build a preserve in essentially every city in my empire. Anyway, before we start building our national parks, let's quickly evangelize our religion. I think I'll grab stupas for the +1 amenity, and then itinerant preachers so that my religious pressure from a single city can apply to more cities. That should help with the little bit of passive religious pressure that I've been struggling with. Now on to the main thing I want to get here. It's time to get our naturalists, and naturalists are going to be a huge deal for me. They are going to give me so many amenities. First national park in track Q, and I can finally get rid of these national park pins. My tourism is going to start skyrocketing now that I'm getting these national parks up, making me pretty happy. Gotta say, currently making about 119 tourism per turn, and I've still got 2 civilizations to meet, which means I'm not quite getting as many tourists as I should, but I already have 16 out of 144. Those may be rookie numbers that I need to pump up, but hey, they're not too bad, right? Now that we have a Nancy, we need to start targeting which of these luxuries we want to try to destroy so that we can wrest control of them. And the benefits of monopoly are pretty good. Once we control 60% or more of the instances of a luxury, we get tourism based on the number of the resources we control, multiplied by the number of foreign civilizations that do not control one. We also get gold per turn, +5 for having a bare minimum monopoly, +10 at 75% monopoly, and +25 for controlling a complete monopoly of a resource. So I need to get my tobacco monopoly up bigger. And I also need to get all that salt online that I have available. But we're into the industrial era. That's going to mean a couple of things for my civilization. First of all, I'm going to want to upgrade the Void Singers with Canticles so we can start recruiting some of those cultists. And it also means I need to build industrial era buildings to get as much value from them as possible. I'm really tempted to get the sanctuary here, but I'm not sure. Is it actually worth it? It's 15 turns of production just to have like incredibly good yields on my tiles, where I could be upgrading my theater square. You know what? I guess just for the meme, I'll build one. Another national park to boost our tourism. Our amenities are starting to skyrocket across my empire as well, even though I'm in deep war weariness from this war. Improved another couple of copies of tea, and I'm getting ever closer to that monopoly mark. I really need to get to peace with Nubia so I can swing Anansi in there and take out her tea. So you know what? I'm just going to eat the cost price of peace, but I'll also give her a bunch of luxuries to try to make it a bit cheaper. Then I'll immediately trade her for open borders, no matter what the cost, and then put a pin on every single one of her luxuries that I need to yeet. Now it's time for Anansi to do his work. Wait, how does Simon Bolivar have only like 0 military strength? What are you doing over here, Simon? Like, you have Stonehenge. Surely you should have a military unit guarding Stonehenge. I feel like this is absolute heresy, considering I'm a part of the Church of Spiffing Brit, but the tea really must just be destroyed. Oh, it is absolutely glorious. I've managed to hit +5 amenities in my capital. So now I'm getting a 40% science boost, 20% from having the spices in this city, and then another 20% from the amenities. And that's applying across all of my yields in here. Man, that is just the power of these national parks. Like if we take a moment to look at our city status, tons of my cities are now content. And as I keep adding more and more of these national parks, I'm just going to be swimming in amenities to the point where I'll have basically every city being ecstatic. Yeet away the silver as well now. Yeah, just a few turns ago, my tourism was about 100. Now it's up to 246. We've already gathered about 49 out of the 167 tourists we need to win, and we still haven't met 2 players. And in order to get tourists against a player, you have to have met them. So I would probably be winning about 25% faster if I'd actually met these players. So it might be a good idea, like it might be in my best interest to just like buy a cheap unit as soon as I can and send it over to this other continent to see if I can find them. I was kind of having my doubts about how strong the strategy that I'm going for is, but I guess it really just comes down to the fact that I just have so much stuff to like generate tourism for me right now, and it's relatively early. I don't have a single great work, by the way, like outside of heroic relics and the one relic I got for free earlier. I don't have a single like real tourism-y kind of generating thing, which is a little bit confusing because I didn't think that you could do this, right? I didn't think you could actually just have such an effective game without actually, you know, going any of the traditional routes. I mean, obviously you can, because I did that Colossal Head game. But yeah, it really does feel like great works are just another way for you to win a tourism game. They're actually not mandatory. And I don't know how I feel about that. On the one hand, I think it's a really cool idea that there's multiple paths to victory in like a single victory, in a single like win condition path. But on the other hand, great works feel like they should be the foundation of any sort of tourism win. I don't know, maybe that's just me talking. Me just saying words with my big mouth. Oh wow! I didn't even realize this, but the plus 10 combat strength from Drive Out the Aggressors for being on, like, attacking into a forest or whatever, that actually applies to your religious units. So not only, that's incredible. So not only are Vietnam, like, impossible to conquer militarily, but they have incredible defensive religion bonuses. This is legitimately the civilization that can turtle like no other. Oh, 2 turns until my sanctuary completes. I am so excited for this. Hey, let's finally set up our silver industry. That's going to give me a monopoly on that silver. Oh, wait, no, actually. We need a little bit more control. Apparently, hang on a minute. Oh, there still is 8 copies of silver on the map somewhere, but I don't see them. Oh, there's like 3 down here. Yeah, I just haven't gotten rid of enough of the silver, and I haven't improved enough of the silver down here either. I'm going to have to make that a priority to get this silver online and settle one here. But regardless, I have a silver industry in here. Oh yes, look at these yields. Now that is a sanctuary worth being proud of. What I really like about the sanctuary and the grove thing is it makes these normally difficult to justify working like national park tiles into absolute powerhouses. Now I'm really curious if this buff stacks. Oh my god, it stacks. It stacks. That's insane. That is ridiculous. I don't even know what to say about that. The fact that the buff from... I need to remove this lumber mill. This tile is actually just better without our lumber mill. I need to get rid of this lumber mill. I need to get rid of this lumber mill. These tiles are just... this is my favorite new addition to the New Frontier Pass, is this Grove Sanctuary District. The Preserve. I don't know, I love seeing really high yields on my tiles. Currently I control 4 out of 7 copies of tea in the entire world, and I'm about to delete Nubia's last copy of it, which means now I control 5 out of 6 of the copies of tea in the world. This window doesn't actually update though for a little bit. I don't know what causes this to update. It updates whenever I reload the game, so I'm not really sure what causes this. Sometimes I like to just kick back and then take a look at all of the appeal in my empire, and there's something really satisfying when just nearly every tile is green. I mean, the exception is over here, which is a pretty underdeveloped area of my empire. But if you look where I've put like the majority of my production time and stuff like that, everything looks amazing. It took us nearly 70 turns, but we finally built the Mausoleum of Halicarnassus. And we also managed to grab economics so we can start building corporations. But the Mausoleum is going to be super useful because if we choose to buy, for example, some of these great engineers, I would like to get Gustav Eiffel, but he's a little bit expensive and I don't know if I have the time to get all those great engineer points. I mean, I guess in Dong Hoi, I could run a couple of industrial zone logistics and see if we could snag them. The important thing is my great merchants that I've been sitting on for a very long time are now able to actually build my corporations. And ideally, I want to get the corporations on the monopolies that I have the most control. So things like tobacco and tea or spices are good choices. But you also have to remember that they actually upgrade the tile they're on. So if I do this right here, this tile becomes incredible. And I think I'm going to call it the Void Tech Spices Company. But now just look at this tile. 7 food, 12 production, and 3 gold. But we can also now make new corporation products. We can make the spice resource product, which gives 20% culture in the city that the resource is in. And I believe in order to hold them, you actually have to have stock exchanges. You can see there it has the +3 product slots. Let's also get a tobacco corporation up, and that will be King Tobacco United. Now we have another tile producing an insane 5 food, 3 gold, 12 production, and 1 faith. I really love how powerful these are. Now that I have capitalism, I'm going to plug in laissez-faire, because I want to get as many great merchants as possible, and the extra great people points is going to be super helpful. We've actually attracted enough tourists to where we're dominant over Simon Bolivar. Really, there's only a couple of civs left. One unmet player, Aminator, and then the last unmet player. So I decided to send an Inquisitor over here to the east in the hope that we could find the last couple of players. It looks like one of them was the Congo there, who, I should immediately get a residency with and get open borders with him too, if he'll have it. Because open borders gives you a 25% boost to your tourism with a player. Also, I completely forgot to unlock Canticle. And I'm going to start getting some cultists too. Although I have a lot of things I want to spend my faith on. It would be nice to get Gustav Eiffel if I could, because I want to get the Eiffel Tower. So I'm going to snag him for 2,000 faith. And then I'll just start slowly recruiting cultists to send against Nubia. Not that I want to flip their cities. I'm more just looking for relic. And that's because I have reliquaries. So any relic I get is super valuable, especially if I get them in cities where I have my religion. We also have flight now. So things like our Tans are starting to generate tourism. Not a huge amount, but it is a very nice little bonus considering they cost half price and they don't take up a district slot in your cities. I definitely feel like Vietnam is maybe less national park kind of a civilization and more like heavy amounts of districts kind of civilization. I think the national park direction has worked, but mostly because I just have so much land. I definitely feel like I want to do another game as Vietnam where I go for a different strategy. One thing I really like about the Monopolies mode is that it makes you have to make a tough decision. Like, do I want the extra governor title? Or do I want to found another corporation? And right now I'm kind of leaning on the corporation side of things. I didn't actually realize this, but once you upgrade a industry to a corporation, it actually doubles the bonus that it gives. So it's giving me 40% culture now. Let's go ahead and make a new spice product so we can slap it into Canto once they finish their stock exchange. And then we'll see if we can turn this into a super city by putting a diverse type of product in here. All right, time for the Tea Corporation, and this will be Spiffco Tea Incorporated. A little bit better than Yorkshire Tea, so I've heard. Oh, apparently I won the game. I didn't even realize I was going to win the game. Wait, I won the game? What? I was in the middle of doing things. I was still optimizing my empire. Oh wow, this screen has gotten an update. Look how nice and big this screen is now. Look at the buildings constructed tab. I'm like, oh, I'm behind. And then it's like, oh, about turn, 125. It is off to the races, dude. I love how many cities you can see me just settling in the cities founded graph. Like, I really didn't try to get any tourism until about here. I didn't get a single great writer that game. I won. My tourism never got above 400. I don't even know how I won this game. This is absurd. I thought I had another 2 hours of playing. I guess Vietnam is just a really good civilization, and I got extremely lucky with all that land. No! Oh, there it is. I was panicking there for a second, thinking they removed the most important graph in the game, the total religions founded graph. I really like how big this screen is. I'm a big fan. We only came in at Herbert Hoover, which is a bit disappointing. Herbert Hoover, probably not the best ranking we could have achieved, but I feel like I won this game so fast. I don't even think we broke turn 200, did we? No, we didn't. We only got to I think we got exactly to turn 200. All right, let's go back in and have a look at our empire. Yeah, we won on exactly turn 200. I thought I had a couple more hours of playing. I wasn't expecting to win this quickly. I had so much stuff I wanted to talk about. I wanted to make products, and I wanted to put them in my stock exchanges and stuff. I wanted to explore the whole world. There was so much left to do, and I won. You know what? Screw it. We're going to do bonus content. This is bonus content. Oh, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, I'm getting 1,155% tourism for my luxury resource monopolies. I'm currently gaining 5,000 tourism per turn against Movember Nzinga. I literally met Movember 5 to 6 turns ago, and I've already taken 16 tourists from him. Holy crap. Oh my god. No wonder I won so quickly. I didn't even understand. Like, here, all right, I haven't met this player, okay? And do you remember like a few minutes ago, I said that Aminator and this unmet player had the same number of tourists? Now I have stolen so many tourists from Aminator that her number of tourists has come down significantly. Like this turn, I had 256 tourists. Aminator had 182, and I'm pretty sure last turn that was like less. This is absurd. I'm taking like 6 tourists a turn from Movember. I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea monopolies were this insane in the late game. Time to build the Eiffel Tower, using none other than Gustav Eiffel himself to quick build it. Hey, we got the East Indies nutmeg built. Oh my god, my tourist button, it's getting insane. Where is it going? It's like traveling off screen. Wait a minute. Why is this plus 60% from modifiers now? Can you stack this? Provides 3 food, 1 tourism per turn. Can this stack? Hang on a minute. I'm getting 1400% tourism from luxury resource monopolies. Okay, this is 100% my new favorite game mode. Very nice. Now we have the Eiffel Tower. And if we go back here and check out the appeal of our empire, nearly every single tile is green now. I just need a little bit more forest. I'll never make like these floodplains green, but they're still nicer than they were. I got my first Great Rider 10 turns after I already won the game. Hey, the last civ was the Gauls, and we managed to actually find them. So the Gauls currently have 217 tourists. It's turn 212, and I'm generating about 7,000 tourism pressure against them. Now it's turn 213. The Gauls have 219 tourists, and I've taken 4 from them in a single turn. This tourism thing it's going to space, dude. We need like the DuckTales moon theme to start playing here because it is just gone, dude. Now in my capital stock exchange, I have 3 copies of spice, which means when combined with the Voidtech Spices Company, I'm getting a 100% boost to the tourism in here, plus another 20% from amenities. That's kind of absurd. And the really cool thing is I can pretty much move this to any city that I want that has a stock exchange. So now this city is making a 60% boost to its culture per turn. Probably not the right city to put that in, but it is really cool that these things provide also food. All right, I currently have 819 tourists out of the 207 I need. And look, I've already stolen 60 tourists from Gaul, and it's only been 10 turns. This monopoly stuff seems like it has some incredible potential. Like, I have 276 tourists in my capital. What in the name of unholy Christ? How do you even get this many? I have never seen so many tourists on a single tile. My tourism tracker has basically taken off into the moon, and I played a good few turns on. I currently have 1,392 tourists out of 103, and my capital city has over 350 tourists in it. How is this even possible? How is this even a thing? That's it for all the bonus footage. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.